Hey, Pete.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Doing well.
This is a great program.
Thank you. So Pete is a slashy. I'm going to steal that. So Pete, you work in finance. You're the founder of PDT Partners, which is a quant hedge fund. And then you're a singer-songwriter, and you spend a lot of your spare time traveling around the country doing gigs. Played at Joe's Pub. And then you're one of the top puzzle makers. You make a lot of puzzles. And so when I read your bio and as I got to know you, I sometimes felt like those are three different biographies, right? It's almost like three different people. And I'm curious to sort of start out, if you feel that those are completely separate interests and passions, or if you feel that there's any through thread, anything that connects the things that you're really, really passionate about.
Oh, that's a good question. There's creativity in all of those. I think that the creativity is the biggest thing. But the things that motivate me are joy. I like doing what I'm just excited about. And then when I find something I'm excited about, I get obsessed with it. I throw myself into it, and I want to be excellent at it. And sometimes that's easier than other times. But so it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do in life. I had no interest in finance at all, by the way. So I went to school. I studied math. I studied music. I was interested in both. I kind of balanced them. And in college, I had a friend who was trying to be on the Olympic team for rhythmic gymnastics. And she asked me to compose a piece for her. And I said, well, sure, why not? And I did this 1.5 minute piece. It was called Happy Fruit. I still remember it. And I was really proud of it because I'd never done this before. I wanted to make it good. And so I gave it to her and I said, okay, what do you think? I played it for her live. She was like, which is really crushing if you write something. But I said, give it a shot, give it a shot. She comes back a week later and she said, oh my God, this is the first piece I've ever had that I haven't gotten sick of. This is amazing. You need to accompany me live at the Olympic tryouts.
Wow.
Which was my shot at making the Olympics because if she had come first, I would have been the Olympic pianist.
Wow.
And she came fourth.
Okay.
Didn't have a really great shot. I mean, a lot of mistakes would have happened with other contestants. But anyway, that was my shot. But I ended up meeting a coach in California who said, if you're ever in California, my girls need music. And I said, sure. I had a programming job lined up. I had worked for a German computer firm. They loved me, and they said, come in New York. I'd worked for them in Germany and Los Angeles. Come work for us in New York. And I said, okay, sure. And then I realized I didn't want to live in New York City. And I kept pushing the job back, and so I drove to California, and I met this coach, and I said, hi, I'm in California. You said if you needed music, I should show up. And she said, that's great. Where are you staying? And I said, I don't know. So she ended up putting me up for a while. She became a kind of a surrogate mom, and then anyway, a surrogate mom. Let's just leave it at that. And I started playing piano for this gymnastics team, and then I realized it's very hard to make a living as a rehearsal pianist.
As a pianist for a gymnastics team?
It's just it's difficult. So
people don't get into piano for a gymnastics team for the money?
Yeah, exactly. So I started looking for a programming job.
Okay.
And I found one run by, it was a company run by a Zen Buddhist econometrics professor at UC Cal. His name was Bar Rosenberg. He was on the picture of institutional investor in a lotus position. The headline was, who the hell is Bar Rosenberg? What is he talking about? Very cool guy. And I realized, they offered me a job. I took it. And I realized that finance was all math. And I was good at it. So I threw myself into it. I got very good at it. I started giving talks. I started writing papers. It was pretty cool. And then I got bored. So I started to learn poker with a couple friends of mine at the company, and we said, let's get good at poker. There are 24-hour card rooms in California. You can go play them, and we did. We would leave work at 5 o'clock on Friday and play till about noon on Sunday without missing a hand, which is really possible if you time your bathroom breaks and you eat at the table. Yeah. Anyway, so I got good at poker. I've actually been on TV playing poker. But then I realized that skill, playing poker and the math and the research, we could combine them and start an internal hedge fund. So we came up with this pitch for the company. We said, hey, let's kind of figure out, instead of just consulting to clients, why don't we build our own models and trade on them? It was a really horrible pitch. They turned us down. I would have turned me down too. It wasn't done very well. But when Morgan Stanley came looking for somebody to basically talk to people and write articles, I pitched them on the idea, and it was a little bit better. And they said, okay, sure, come give it a try. So I moved to New York. This was in the early 90s. And I convinced them that because I was a poker player, I could figure out how to trade in financial markets using mathematical models. It turned out to be way harder than I thought. But I'm really, really competitive, so I threw myself into it. I got lucky. I connected with a few great people that started my group, and we threw ourselves into it. And by the late 90s, we were the most profitable group at the bank. I was making more money than I ever dreamed of. I was the highest paid guy at Morgan Stanley. And I wasn't happy. And the reason I wasn't happy was because I had moved to New York and I had a piano in my apartment that I wasn't playing. And I had all this emotional stuff inside, and I was just trying to win. That was really fun. It was great. But then once I won, I didn't stop. And so my life blew up. I was in a 4-year relationship that broke up. My partner in my business told me that she wanted to move to LA and study psychology and live by the beach, which I thought was a great idea. And we went to dinner and cried, and I realized, wow, there's something missing. So I started writing songs. I wrote a song about the breakup. That was the first thing. I was like, hey, nobody's ever felt this way before, ever. Great. So I wrote the song, and I realized, wow, that was fun. And okay, wait, I can get better at this. I want to get better. So I threw myself into getting better at it. And I thought I was just going to leave the business and just do music. And I realized I missed the business. It's a longer story, but I'm summarizing it. And then I ended up going back and doing both. And so I'm further down the road, and now I'm about to release my 7th album in November. And I go around, and I'm an opening act for some people you know. I've gotten to be friends with Livingston Taylor, who's James Taylor's brother. So I'm a couple steps removed from stardom. But I'm the opening act, and we'll do our own gigs in New York and in California. And just trying to get people to listen to the music and keep on getting better at it. That's really fun. So
That's really, I want to ask you about puzzles, but maybe you could play something for us.
Which one would you like? We could do both.
I know, we're going to do
start?
both, but I
Okay.
think it'd be nice to hear, let's hear you.
You want to hear a
if you're-
song
Yeah.
first?
If you're open to it, it'd be great
And
to.
then but you're going to leave them hanging. They're going to be like puzzles. What do you mean by
I
puzzles?
know, they're not going anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I had this song prepared that I was going to play. And I just felt something in the room. There is at least one person that needs to hear this song. I've been married for like 15 years. If you're in a relationship, you know that it's not always easy. Sometimes you're
Thank you for that.
Sure. It's a great audience.
It is. You know, I'm trying to figure out how to ask the new question I want to ask and fit puzzles into it. Because I'm really stuck in this puzzle thing. But
We could hit the puzzles and then go to the question.
no. I can do this. I have faith in myself.
Me too.
So, one of the themes that I heard in your story was that you're very good at identifying what resonates with you and following that, even if that leads you into ambiguity, right? And I think that in your narrative, you know, you talked a lot about career pivots and how some things you carried over, like the math, into the finance, and some things you didn't. Puzzles seems to be something that you've had throughout the whole time. And I'm curious, maybe, I mean, as somebody who's been as professionally successful as you have the luxury or privilege, or you've earned the right to sort of spend your time in the way that you want to. And it seems like a big part of that, of your life journey, is now identifying where that resonance lies. And so maybe you can sort of share with us how you think about your own journey philosophically, since you can choose from so many different paths, and how puzzles fits into that.
Ooh, well done.
Thank
well
you.
done.
Thank you.
You know,
I'm
put the
here
whole
all
thing
night.
there.
Thanks.
You know, I'm lucky to be able to do what I want, and I think it's the thing that gives me so much joy. Probably the most joy that I have is inspiring people, watching them grow, helping them grow. You know, my company spun out of Morgan Stanley in 2012. We have 250 people now. I'm kind of more of an executive chairman, so I get to kind of coach people and mentor them, and when they learn and they get better at it than I ever was, that just makes me really, really happy. So in the puzzle world, I always loved doing crosswords and things like that, and I decided I wanted to create one a long time ago, and so I did, and I sent it to Will Shortz, because there's a way you can look online figuring out how to send it, and I don't know, 9 months later I got a letter saying, I'm sorry, nice try again. So it was okay, I tried again, and I sent one in and hadn't heard back for a long time, and so I found somebody else to submit it to, sent it to him. You know, you can do it by email. Will, you have to actually print it out and do all that stuff. He wrote back right away, hey, wow, this is a great idea, let's do this. Let's collaborate together. So we collaborate together, get to a finished puzzle, and at the end he says, I tell him, oh, so by the way, you know, I submitted this to the Times like a million years ago, and I haven't heard back, I just wanted to tell you. And he said, oh, you what? This is a sin in the crossword world, which I've learned.
Is it a crossword faux pas?
It's a huge faux pas. I've actually since become friends with Will and all that, but this is a major faux pas. And he said, well, you have to write Will right away and tell him you're rescinding, you're taking the puzzle back, otherwise I can't publish it.
The puzzle police.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, except I don't know how to get a hold of Will. And he goes, oh, here, this is his email address. Hi, Will. You rejected one of my puzzles. I sent you another one, and I just want to, take it back because somebody else is going to publish it. I get an email back 3 hours later. Oh, that's too bad. We were going to run it in the New York Times. So I went to Peter Gordon was the other guy. And I said, Peter, I've never had a puzzle in the he said, no, sorry. My puzzle. I'm like, okay. So, but then Will wrote back and said, I understand, but here's my home address. You can send them there. So I ended up writing a bunch. I've had like 17 puzzles in the Times. And then I realized, okay.
Is it normal for puzzle people to share their home addresses? Like, sorry, that's the strangest part of the story so far.
If you're Will Shortz, yeah, that's what you do.
Okay, all right.
You get them, once you've gotten a puzzle accepted.
Okay, that's like a thing.
It's a thing.
Okay.
So, but even if you're an established constructor, and I'm at that established level, you get most of them rejected because different people do the New York Times crosswords. Any crossword people in here? Oh, we got some. That's cool. So I decided I wanted to do my own puzzle. And it was something called a meta puzzle, and it's a musical meta puzzle. And I started this 12 or 13 years ago. And it is now in the Washington Post every month, which is the last 4 years. And then during the pandemic, I actually hired an intern from Princeton, and we created a whole new puzzle type, which is in the Washington Post every day. And I figured out how to mentor people to help create it so that I don't have to actually create it. It was really fun to invent it. But the whole joy of creating a puzzle is doing something that gives somebody a chance to have a real challenge. They're gonna try really hard, but eventually you're gonna lose. You're trying to fight a battle with your solver that you eventually lose. And if it's too easy, they're not gonna love the puzzle, and if they can't solve it, they're not gonna like it. So that's the fun part of it. So I love doing this. I still love creating it.
That's super cool.
Okay. Anyway, that's puzzles. That's one of that's one slashy, right?
No, I love it. I mean, I think the ability to sort of have the courage and determination to first identify what resonates with you, but then follow it through as far as you can, I think is a pretty unusual thing.
I think that's, most people in life go, okay, this is good enough.
Right.
This is good enough. And I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, but I always look at whatever I do and I go, oh, I can make it better. I can make it better. How do I make it better?
I could find out where Will Schwartz lives.
So yeah. I actually have, so he runs, this is a funny story, but total sidebar, but he runs the American Crossword Puzzle Tournament, and he is okay now, but he had a stroke a couple years ago, and they came to me and they said, Pete, do you want to host the tournament? Because Will can't do it anymore. And I said, well, sure, but why me? And they said, well, nobody thinks you're going to take over Will's job. So you're safe, and if we put anybody else up there, they think that he's the heir apparent. So I'm like, sure. So I did it. It was really fun.
That's very cool. Pete, thank you very much.
Pleasure, Nick. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Great event.
Thank you.
Oh, can I mention one more thing? If you're the kind of person that likes checking out new singer-songwriters, you can find me at petemuller.com. I send out a monthly newsletter. So anyway, thanks so much. This has been great.
Thanks, Pete.